Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video comparing The Walking Dead Season 4 finale to the other Walking Dead finales, Seasons 1 through 3. Alright, good stuff. So if you guys missed my review for The Walking Dead Season 4 finale, I'll put the link in the description. You guys can click on it so you can go ahead and watch the in-depth review. Kind of know how I felt about the episode. Just to kind of reflect, sum it up really quickly, I felt like it was a really well-rounded episode. We got some great action. It was really tense, a lot of suspense. Got a couple battles in there. And we got some good character stuff. Awesome flashbacks to the prison with Hershel and everybody. Very touching lines between Rick and Daryl, calling him his brother. You know, the final cliffhanger line, they don't know who they're messing with. You know, that confidence that Rick displays at this point, and the belief he has in himself that he can get his group out of this current circumstance. Probably get that bag of weapons and guns on the outside of the fence and take down these people of Terminus. So really good stuff. I really enjoyed the Season 4 finale. Now, granted, I don't think we're going to see anything in the Walking Dead television series top Too Far Gone for a very long time, if ever. To me personally, even though that was a mid-season finale, it technically was not a finale. It was like the best episode of any TV series I have ever seen, at least in my opinion. There are some people that actually like the Season 4 finale better than Too Far Gone. Me personally, I don't think anything is ever going to surpass Too Far Gone for me, except for maybe if they go through the same storyline as the comic book series later on, if they have all-out war, for example, between Negan's group, the Saviors, and Rick's group, or some things like that that really are big. You know, they can do some really big things with The Walking Dead, with zombies and stuff like that, and really bring in some crazy episodes with deaths and everything that are just awesome. But for me, Too Far Gone just wraps up that whole Governor arc, and it's the best episode ever. Now, that said, it's not technically a finale. Mid-season finale is not really what we're talking about, but just to kind of put it out there, that for me is the biggest and best episode of The Walking Dead. Period. Maybe best they'll ever do. We'll see if they can surpass it or not. But to compare this season finale to the previous season finales, season 1, 2, 3, and which one I think is the best or which one I enjoy the most, let's start from the beginning, season 1. So, the season 1 finale, of course, they're at the CDC. You've got the mad scientist, Dr. Jenner, crazy doctor, and he basically is allowing them to all opt out, or he's kind of he's kind of forcing them to opt out, and Rick's group, of course, narrowly escapes, narrowly gets out of there using a grenade, and you have the big kabloom explosion there of the CDC. We had a character death with Jaquie, I believe her name is, and Jenner as well, of course, you got to count him too. And I felt like it was a good finale. That said, it was only 6-episode season, so, I mean, it was a good finale compared to most TV series. Now, that said, when we go on to Season 2 upped the game quite a bit. Rather than having some kind of big explosion like that and sort of an entrapment type situation, which we're kind of getting into now at the end of The Walking Dead Season 4. Season 2, we got to see the farm overrun by our first real herd. Well, not there was the herd in the premiere of Season 2 on the highway, but they kind of avoided that. They hid under the cars, except for Andrea. But this was one where they actually had to up and just abandon ship. We're at a location, we're living here at this farm. We feel pretty safe here, and now out of nowhere, out of the blue, at night, we have to all just get up and just go. We got to get out of here. So that one for me was a step up from the first season finale. You had the barn, the burning with all the walkers. You had a good number of deaths. There was like Patricia, was it Jimmy? And there were some others too, weren't there? Of course, Shane is kind of included in that because he was close to the end. Dale, also close to the end, also should be kind of included in that, even though the finale episode itself was just them leaving the farm and picking up after the whole thing with Shane. And then at the end, you had Michonne introduced, you had the prison zoom out, you had, all of these events, for me personally, made that a super exciting finale, especially because they finally got the hell off that farm. A lot of people were getting bored of the farm. We didn't get a lot of walkers at the farm. It was just kind of a dry environment, I want to say. It was cozy and it was kind of fun to see, but it wasn't that interesting by itself of an environment in a zombie apocalypse to see compared to Atlanta, compared to the CDC, compared to the prison, compared to Terminus, compared to Woodbury. It's probably the least interesting. It's just a farm. That's it. There's the barn. After we got past that, it's just a farm. So that season finale, the season 2 finale, was incredible. Beside the Dying Fire, I believe it was called. Incredible. Even better than the first one. That would be my favorite between the first two. Going on from there, the season 3 finale. Now, this is when I actually did a video right after discussing if it was a disappointment, because a lot of people felt like the season 3 finale was a letdown. They were hoping it would be too far gone, and it wasn't. The governor loses in his attack. We get a couple of deaths, but not that many at the hands of Rick's group. Carl, I think, is the only one that shot someone dead that we saw. Aside from that, you have the governor basically, after failing to destroy them at the prison, goes AWOL and kills everyone in his group except for Schumpert and Martinez. So I thought this was, in retrospect, this was a decent choice to extend it. So we got another half season, which I really loved, and we had Too Far Gone with the tank, because at that time the governor didn't have a tank, and it would have been a little rushed to end it there. We had Merle, and what happened with Merle before that, which I actually prefer. I think it was This Sorrowful Life with Merle attacking the governor. I actually think that was a better episode than the actual finale we got. Even though in the finale we had the death of Milton, Andrea, it was a pretty packed finale with things happening, the governor losing everything. But yeah, it left a little to be desired, I want to say. It was good in terms of action, but definitely, to extend that governor story arc, they didn't want to wrap everything up, so it wasn't by itself the best finale. It was good, but it wasn't, absolutely fantastic. I think they felt if they threw in the Andrea and Milton deaths, that would, up it a bit. I didn't really like the Andrea death, personally. I miss having Andrea in the show, and I like having her in the comic book series. So I see why they did it, but for me personally, it's not my favorite due to that, and also the prolonging of the governor story arc, which in retrospect is a good decision, but by itself, that episode, I got to take away from it because it wasn't really what I wanted. Too Far Gone was what I wanted, so I was happy in the end, but that episode by itself, I'd have to say, not my favorite, and I would probably put season 2's finale in retrospect at this time ahead of that. So that said, you guys know the season 2 finale is my favorite. Reasons so far, we'll compare it to season 4 now, so far, but basically because, Michonne's introduction, the prison starting, they left the farm, all the action with the walkers, shooting, everything, Shane just dying previous to that, Dale before that, that was a really packed ending to a season, and that finale for me by itself, man, that was exciting. Andrea getting separated, everything that happened, wow, just great episode. Great episode. Love that one. So season 2 finale, so far my favorite. Let's compare it to season 4. So season 4's finale, episode 16. To compare it to the others, I want to say that it's better than the season 1 finale easily. I probably would say it's better than the season 3 finale, I guess. I don't know. It's probably, for me personally, in terms of how I enjoyed it, it's somewhere on the same level. You have the Joe's group versus Rick's group thing, which is great. Great character moments and flashbacks. And then you have, of course, the Terminus battle at the end or starting, where they're trapped. So it is a really exciting episode, but we don't get any major character deaths out of it, did we? And in addition to that, we didn't get that much. Yeah, we didn't get any zombie action, did we? So, that's something to consider as well, too. There was no zombies, but we did get to see Terminus, and we did have some people-on-people action with Joe's group. So, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to say it's better than the first finale. It's on par with the season 3 finale. I'll put them both kind of similar. Somewhere close to each other. And it's not as good, in my opinion, as the season 2 finale. Because if you look at the season 2 last few episodes, Dale's death, Shane's death, and then the leaving of the farm beside the dying fire, that was really exciting. I remember that as being really exciting. So, yeah, season 3, it's closest to season 3 for me. So I go my favorite, season 2. My next is kind of a tie between season 3 and 4. They're both on par. Maybe season 3 because you had the Merle thing. I really enjoyed that. Season 4, the lead up to it wasn't really that great. It was okay. It was good. But it wasn't like, that Merle, This Sorrowful Life. So if I have to go, I go, I guess, season 2, my favorite. Season 3, my second. Season 4 after that, and then season 1 is my least favorite. So actually, when I compare, season 4 doesn't stack up all that well, in my opinion. Some people may be your favorite, but I do want to say, and this is something psychologically that happens to a lot of viewers, whatever's recent, people will always have, it will always be most people's favorite. They're not able to detach themselves from something being new and just seeing it in retrospect to other things that happened previous. They're not able to detach it. Everything that's new is always the best. So do consider that, and I try to kind of distance myself from that tendency to always rank everything that's newest at the highest or best ever. A lot of people do that. So I'm not saying that there's no reason why it would be your favorite. Maybe you thought the Confrontation with Joe's Group was the most exciting thing you've ever seen. Maybe you thought finally seeing Terminus was absolutely enthralling. That's fine, and it was. They were great. It's just in comparison to what we've had before, it's not my favorite finale. I'm not disappointed by it, though. I think it was really good. But, we're into a new story arc now. It's the timing. We had Too Far Gone. Boom. The timing, just because it's the end of a season, doesn't make it sense for it to be, a big resolution. Season 2's was a big resolution of the farm. Move on from there. Too Far Gone, big resolution of the governor of the prison. Move on from there. Here is more like like season 3's mid-season finale, where it's in the middle. We're just getting started with this new stuff with Terminus and this new battle that's starting. We saw the resolution of Joe's group, which was cool, but there's a lot of open doors that are not closed yet, cliffhangers. Beth is out there somewhere, or her body or something is, and a lot of things we got to see. So it was a good season finale, but by itself, in comparison to the others, just by the episode itself, and by the last couple wrapping up of the season, I'd have to say it's my third favorite overall now, or second least favorite. 2, 3, and then 4, and then 1 down. Okay? So those are my thoughts on it. That's what I think. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Did you feel it was disappointment? Is it your favorite ever? If it is, that's fine. No problem. That's fine. If it really is, that's fine. Write it in the comments below what you think about it and why it's your favorite. Or put your ranking. I want to see what you guys think. Put your ranking so I have an understanding of people out there, and in comparison to the others, non-biased because it's new. Compare it to the others and how you felt about it and where you think you'd place it as the best finale. And last few episodes too, because it is one episode by itself, but we have kind of like a lead up the last couple episodes. This season we had the Mika Lizzie, us, and then A, right? So let me know what you guys think and the episode by itself. Rank them. Anyway, I'll call it here. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you tomorrow for the next one. This is Trev. As always, I'm saying peace.